Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here for a solo episode where I'm just going to talk at you a little bit because I think that there are so many things that people do, common themes that I see all the time that I want to address in what I'm calling stop it episodes. Stop doing this thing that doesn't work and do a thing that does work. And one of the first things that I deal with any client that I deal with on a daily basis is navigating what's next. And people try to jump directly into things like the resume or a LinkedIn profile update. And that's fine. That's not a bad thing. But I think that clarity is the obvious first step that so many people skip over. And so I want to introduce you to an exercise that will guide you in defining what you actually want for your future, what you're ready to leave behind. And so it's important to think about very specifically what makes a dream job and to define things that are just absolute no-goes for you. So I do an exercise with all of my clients who walk into work with me going, I want something new, but I don't necessarily know what that is. So if this is you, if you are thinking to yourself, I definitely need out of what I'm doing now. I need to make a change. I need to adjust something here. But you're not quite sure what that is, or if it's a little ill defined, or if you're questioning whether the next thing is the right thing, this is the place to start. So, what I want you to do is to grab a piece of paper and put a line down the center of that piece of paper. On the left at the top, you're going to write hell yes. And on the right at the top, you're going to write hell no. So I want you to be specific in listing all the things that are your hell yeses and all the things that are your hell nos. These are objective statements about what you want and what you do not want in your next position. Now, they can be very, very vague, right? I don't want to sit behind a desk 8 hours a day. I don't want to have a customer that I have to interface with all day, every day. You might list things related to salary, compensation, right? Do you want a bonus structure? Do you want stock options? Do you want equity? You might list benefits and perks. Do you need a corporate car? Do you want your phone plan paid for? What types of professional development do you want incorporated into your compensation package? You might look at tasks and responsibilities. What are things that you're willing to do every day? Are there things that you hate doing? Those are the kinds of things that I want you to think about and jot down. Daily tasks and responsibilities. We want to think too about work environment. What do you want that culture to look like? There are some people I deal with, it's hilarious to me, who go, I want work to feel like a family. I want to just love the people that I work with. That's really important to me. And I deal with other people who go, I don't want to think about work one single second after 5 p.m. when I go home. It does not need to feel like a family. We don't need to do silly pizza parties. And some people say, that's really important to me. I want to be able to feel like I can hang out at work with the people that I work with. So think about the work environment, the culture that you want to live in. Think too about balance. We hear a lot about balance. A lot of times you hear it called work-life balance. I hate that term because I think that there's a really specific way that we think about work-life balance. It literally puts work first, which is so silly to me. Work shouldn't be the thing that defines balance in your life. Really, ultimately, it's life balance. It's, do you have balance in all aspects of your life? And work is one of those. And so think about, what does that life balance look like? So this is where you'll get a lot of people saying, I need hybrid or remote. Maybe it's unlimited PTO. You might want a certain amount of vacation. You might be caring for an elderly parent and need to be able to leave at a moment's notice. Same for children. You might need to run to daycare or to school to pick up a child and don't want to be in an environment where that's going to be looked down on or frowned upon. I want you to think too about opportunity for advancement, right? Are you going into a director level role and want to be able to work up into VP or VP to the C-suite or C-suite onto boards? Is this going to get you where you want in your career? So this is where we start thinking even long-term. Your next job is unlikely to be the last job you ever have. And so think about career development. What are the opportunities to advance either within the organization or to learn things in this organization that will allow you to transition to something bigger, better, and greater down the road? Consider too, leadership style, management style. What do those look like, both for the person who's going to be maybe your boss and for the team that you might be managing. Does your leadership style align with what that team needs? Does your boss's management style align with what you want out of a boss? There are some folks that I meet who I think of as loving being micromanaged. It's really not that they love being micromanaged. Really, it's that they love clarity and they love to be able to walk into their boss's office each morning and say, this is what I'm working on. These are my priorities. Here's how I'm doing with it. Am I on the right track? Other people look at that and think that that is the most ridiculous form of micromanaging, and they would never want to work for somebody who does that. So clearly define what that looks like so that as you're having discussions with senior leaders, with executives, with folks who maybe will be working for you, you can talk about what are those styles and what lend themselves most to a successful engagement with the team. Think too about location and commute. If you're driving to work every day, do you want to spend 45 minutes in traffic? Are you okay if you can take public transportation versus having to drive? What makes the most sense for you? So there's all of these things, right? All of these different areas that you could consider. And I want you to be very, very black and white here. This is not the time for compromise or to kind of hum and haw over different things. This is the time for, as you think through each of these areas, is it a hell yes? Is it a must have? Or is it a hell no? Is it a deal breaker for you? And so start thinking about those things, but get them out of your head and down on paper. Far too frequently, we start to think through this. And when we're thinking about it, our thoughts are influenced by what happened at work today, what's happening with family tonight, if you're listening to this in the evening. We really can be incredibly subjective about things that are vitally important to determine. And so I want you to be as objective as possible by, number one, writing this down. Actually get it out of your brain and down on paper so you can see what you are writing. Sometimes you think you have a hell yes or a hell no on your hands. And when you put it down on paper and look at the rest of the list, you realize that that's actually not a must have. It might be a nice to have, but it is not a must have. And so being really clear and defining what that looks like is going to be important for you. So think of this as extremely black and white. Now, after this, you can start to explore that gray area. You can call it the hell maybe if you want. This is where you're weighing potential opportunities that don't neatly fit into the hell yes or the hell no category. And I want you to be mindful of hell maybe situations because maybe it's a compromise for growth. Maybe you have just this amazing opportunity for growth or advancement, and you're willing to tolerate something that is not as ideal, even if it's just temporary. Maybe you say, you know what? I will take that lower salary because this is going to allow me to advance up to an SVP. You might also consider something like a balancing act, right? Maybe it has some good things, some bad things, but I don't know. Let's say it's really, really far from your house, but the company culture is ideal. Maybe they have exceptional benefits. And if you're dealing with any health issues or have a child or a spouse who has really specific needs, you might say, you know what? I will take fewer vacation days in order to take advantage or capitalize on those exceptional benefits that they offer. And then, of course, changing circumstances too. What I deal with a lot with people are changing industries or moving from one function to another. And so what you need in order to build the career that you want in the long term might also be a point where you're willing to compromise. If you say, look, I have career ambition that makes it so that I will take the lower job title because I'm moving into an area that I think is going to be really fulfilling to me professionally. Or maybe it's just market conditions. At the point that I'm recording this right here in 2026, the job market's not great. It's improving a little bit. There's a lot of uncertainty, and the labor economy hates uncertainty. And so maybe you go, look, I see the writing on the wall. Maybe your company's going to lose a government contract. Maybe you're realizing that we're not growing as much as we used to, and I want to be in an industry that's growing so that I feel a little bit more stable. I don't have to worry about a potential layoff. That's where I want you to consider changing market conditions might change the circumstances under which you're willing to accept a role. So think about all those in-betweens and consider, what are those? Where am I willing to compromise on my hell yes, hell no, black and white, and figure out where I might be able to make compromises. Now, in all of this, the thing that I recommend is actually look at real job descriptions too. Look at job descriptions for roles that you've had in the past. Look at a job description for a role you have now. Look at job descriptions for ideal positions that you think might be great for you in the future. Because you can base a lot of this on past, present, and future experiences. So look to real world, real circumstances and consider what that might be. So try to put yourself in the mentality, in the mindset of what it's going to be like to work in a future role. And that's where you're going to draw the hell yes, hell no, and hell maybes from. Now, it's also going to be important for you to then go back and reflect on this. So what I'm saying is that this is not going to be a one-time exercise. This is something I want you to jot down, throw it in your pocket of your jacket, put it in your purse, carry it with you, because you might have an aha moment in the grocery store or on your way to work one day. And you go, oh, I was just thinking about my hell yes, hell no, and I have something that I want to put down. So grab that and carry it with you. But then I want you to reflect on this too. So once you feel like you have gotten out all of the thoughts you can possibly get out, maybe you've revisited a time or two, start thinking about some important questions. Number one, I want you to think, what immediate feelings come to mind as I wrote down each item in this list? Is there anything that surprised me? Sometimes being this objective forces us to look at realities that in our head aren't really realities because we've never solidified them. So did you surprise yourself with any of this? The second question I want you to ask, are there any recurring themes that stand out? I'll give you an example. Did any of the aspects related to that life balance, or we might refer to as work-life balance, did any of those appear more frequently? Then I want you to ask yourself, what have you learned about priorities? What are my priorities? What are my deal breakers? How are these insights going to influence career planning for the future? If you realize that a major part of what you do now is on your hell no list as a thing you will never do again, that might really change the trajectory of your entire career. So this is why the planning, the clarity phase is so important up front. Look back at this exercise. Ask yourself, are there any areas I should explore or questions I need to ask? Now, those questions might be in networking events, one-on-one connections with either existing contacts, or maybe you make a brand new contact. Maybe you ask somebody brand new who you've never met before about their role so that you get an understanding of what it's like. This also could influence how you talk about things in job interviews too, because sometimes we need to know before we can make a solid decision if something happened on our hell yes and hell no list that's going to influence this job. So start looking at those types of things. It's important to question assumptions and to make sure that you have all the information that you need to make decisions about your future. So it's not always easy. It can be time consuming to do this as well. But I will tell you, it's totally worth the time, because if you don't do this piece, anything else that you do, if you write a resume, if you update your LinkedIn profile and you don't have this clarity piece, all you're going to do is spin your wheels towards something that doesn't actually get you where you want to be. So make sure that you are being strategic and intentional and see what comes of it. See if this changes the trajectory of what you start to look for. It's going to be interesting. And I want you to reach out to me and let me know if this does, in fact, make a difference in the direction that you choose to pursue. Good luck, and I'm right here if you need me. Thanks for spending time with me in the boardroom. If today's conversation sparks something for you and you want clarity on what comes next, visit theboardroom.net to book a reset session or to learn about upcoming leadership retreats. Your next move does not have to wait. I'll see you next episode.